few words to explain why we are two for the price of one. We have been, before this meeting, in a meeting in Hawaii, a Liconia Society meeting that was in Hawaii. And then when I'm there, we try to make those two events happens together. Then, if someone that produces Liconia or produces tropical flowers can come from Protea, but I don't know nothing of Protea, and I imagine that we can grow both together, the Liconians that like a lot of water, and Protea that don't like water, and they are really very difficult to grow together. But then I'm already in Hawaii, and I said, oh, why not? I'm going also to California and to this meeting of Protea. And as I'm here, I decided to write a paper, and we put together a lot of researchers from Brazil that wrote this paper called Protea Market in Brazil, Trends, Challenges and Opportunities. And when you are writing this paper, we start to talk with Dirk about the productions of Protea in the state where I come from, that is from northeast part of Brazil, a state called Pernambuco. I forget to say that I'm a professor from a university in Brazil, in this state of Pernambuco. And as we listened today morning, I decided to get out of my box and not only work with tropical flowers, and also see if we can bring more Proteas to my country. And the interesting things that I saw here is how the Africans, the South African researchers and Australian researchers look for the native plants. And I think that another thing that I will get out of the box again is to try to do the same work that you have done with Proteas, but also with our native plants. This is is a challenge for me now to know everything about Protea, but also look for our native plants that I'm sure should be so difficult as Proteas because of the main conditions of production. Then nothing better than a producer of Proteas to talk about the Protea market in Brazil, trends, challenges and opportunities. Then now I give the words from Dirk.
Thank you. Jij is het dan? Good afternoon. It's always a challenge to go after lunch. Everybody's still a little bit ready to take a nap, but I've tried to make it interesting. I think the topic Brazil is already interesting because it's a black spot on the map. And I had a lot of people coming to me and said, growing Proteas in Brazil. I mean, you live in a tropical country, you have rain, you have rainforest. I mean, how the heck are you going to produce Proteas? But yeah, in fact, it is true. We have humid conditions, we have a lot of summer rains, and we have difficult conditions for Proteas. However, just like the United States, Brazil is a very big country. So we have microclimates, and I think that makes Brazil interesting. If I can have go to the next slide, so I show you the map of Brazil. So currently there are two producers in Brazil. We are our friends, the family Reyers. They are based in the south. We're also this week here. Probably you've met them already. They are situated in the mountains of Minas Gerais, an elevation of around 3,000 feet, which is if I'm not mistaken, the 28th, and I have to check here, 23 degrees southern latitude. That's where they're situated. And they managed already for a long time to grow very beautiful cynaroids. They also have eczemia, and they have the high gold leucosperm. We started our production here in Gravatá, which is, I think, 1,500 miles north, and it's on the 8th degrees southern latitude. We have two locations. We started here, it's an altitude of 2,000 feet, and 2.5 years ago, we acquired a new area. We'll talk a little bit later about that in the interior of Pernambuco. So our story very quickly. began 15 years ago when I was sent from the Netherlands together with my wife Natalie and our just born daughter to Brazil. And we ended up in Recife. It was for work. You could think of worse places to go to, so we actually liked it a lot. But after a few, we were staying in Recife, which is at the beach, and after a while you get a little bit sick of the heat and the beach, and I said I want something for the weekend, you know, something cooler. And there are 1.5 hours from Recife you have a mountain range, and there you have cooler evenings and etc. So we bought that area, and then I got in touch with a Dutch producer who was looking for opportunities in Brazil, and I tried to help him out. He was an agapanthus producer, so we tried to do something in our region. However, agapanthus need a lot of water, and we don't have that much water. So in the end, he put me in contact with Nick Oudendijk, who has at that time started a plantation in Portugal. And I got intrigued with these Proteas. I visited his place, he invited me there, and I said, wow, I need these plants in Brazil. That would be fantastic. Well, I didn't know at that moment what I was putting myself into, because it's much easier said than done, especially when you don't have the real climate and soil conditions. Anyway, we got like 15 species over from pink eyes, so the Protea, the white eyes. We got the Leucosperm types, Solel, Ricoletto red. We got, what was the other one? I wrote it down. Tango Succession. Then we also got the Leucosperm types, Safari, Yester, and Galpini. So I think we had around 1,000 plants, and we started testing them. In the beginning was a real struggle. Plants started dying, but after a while we started reading them and observing them, and we got more information. We started talking to people that had a lot of knowledge about them, and we ended up with 5 varieties. And those adapted well to our conditions and also had a commercial value in the market. And now in this, the farm as I showed you first, we have mainly pink eyes. We have now around 3 hectares of pink eyes. I'm going to show you a little bit, a few pictures. So this is our pink eyes. These are now between 3 and 5 years old. We like to get rid of them after 10 years. When they get woody, they tend to grow very fast in our region. But they have a good production and also very good shelf life. You also see some safari here in the back. We use these plastic mulch not only for weed control, but in this area we have also during certain periods of time a lack of rain. So we capture the water, it goes automatically to our wells, so that we use that during dry periods for irrigation. A few pictures of our beautiful flowers. This is our nursery, so we have a place for the seedlings and the cuttings. We also do we make the cuttings, we rooted them, we have mist beds. In the beginning we suffered a lot to get it right, but I think now we have got the techniques and sort of doing well. We get good rooting percentages. If I would have had that information 10 years ago, it would have been much easier. But we learn by doing, and there was not much I could do. There were no other producers we could check, so we had to do everything ourselves. We also have some wax here. They're actually also easy to root. I thought it was very difficult, but and we also have an area where we dry our pink eyes. We have relatively constant year-round production, but we have some peaks, and the peaks are also especially during the holiday season in Brazil when everybody's at the beach and carnival, and that is a problem for us. And actually started during COVID when we had no market. We started drying them. I told the guys, let's put them in the sun. We used to do them upside down in a dark area, but they got very brown and dark. So we put them in the sun, and they maintain the color, they maintain the leaves, and there's a market for it. So if you need some information about how to do it, it's actually very easy. Put them in the sun, make sure they don't get wet, and they do well, at least for us. Well, after we got them on the roots, we like to put them for a few months in a shaded area, 50% before we plant them out. Now we've got some areas that are really not good at all in terms of drainage, so especially Leucospermum were suffering. So we put them in pots, but the results were mixed. I don't like to put them in pots. And so in the end we said, okay, pink ice is doing well here, but there was a lot of demand for the Leucospermum type, so let's find another area. So we started mapping out Brazil, the whole country, and in the end we came down to an area that is very interesting, that has although it's also not ideal, but it has a hot semi-arid climate, and it is in this region over here. And the advantage is that we are on the river. So what do we have? There are certain spots of sandy soil due to millions of years of river sediment that was going through. So before we bought the area, I talked to the guys, let's dig a hole here, see how deep we are. So we went 3 meters and it was still sand. So I said, okay, this is the place we need to be. I need to have sandy soil. So we have more than 93% sand, very low phosphor. Our acid is, pH is quite acid, 4.5. We've got like 3,000 hours of sunshine per year. If I show this to my friends in the Netherlands, they go crazy because there we have maybe 500 a year, you know, rain. And we've got like 400 millimeter, 16 inches of rainfall per year. And yesterday I heard something interesting, virgin soils, so we got virgin soils, which is, I think, difficult to find nowadays. And we have very good water irrigated directly from the San Francisco River. So is it good? I don't know. We are starting now, and the first results look well. We have quite an elevated temperature, but it's constant year-round. So we don't see many differences during winter and summer. We have a little bit of rainfall during the beginning of the year, but it's not like it will never rain like 3 days in a row. It's maybe 1 day, and then you get rain for the whole month. So it's actually quite good. Differences between winter, day length in winter and summer, it's very small, 1 hour, 11.5 hours during winter and 12.5 hours during summer. So this is what we found. So really it's like walking on the dunes. These are safari. We planted 5 hectares now. Here we just pruned them. And this is, I think, a little bit more than a year ago. And this picture was taken last week. So we really got them, I think within 15, 16 months we got them already in a stage that we could cut them. In the beginning we had a little bit of difficulties on that they were very green. We like to get them really red, so we thought lack of cold. And then through Hans, I got in contact with Eugenie, and Eugenie gave me a very good recipe for fertilization, and suddenly they became red. So we were very happy, and the market is accept them then as well. So we also do some tests with wax flower. It was, I don't think it's a challenge, but people said, well, I don't think you would get them on the flower because they need also long daylight and less daylight and cold. And well, yeah, this is not artificial intelligence. This is really, you can look at our fields and it's like this. So something is going on there, and I don't know what induces the flowers, but we got them on the flower. And this is without any fertilization. So it's just in the sand, and they stayed there for, I think this is a 30-year-old plant, and it flowered. So because of that, we started increasing, and we have now like 2,000 wax flowers. They are now, this is also taken last week, so they are now a little bit more than a year old. So I hope to have them on the flower also somewhere in May, June. That's probably the time they will flower. Also have some Leucospermum varieties. I saw the Hawaiian varieties, so I really would love to test them over there. They're struggling a little bit, I think because of the heat, but I think there's a potential for them with better varieties. Then we also started to test the Banksias. We got like 10 different varieties from seeds, and I see that some are doing well, others are struggling a bit. I hope to end up with at least 4 varieties, and they haven't flowered yet. They are now 1.5 years old, but I hope and expect that next year we'll see the first flowers. Well, a little bit about the commercial side of Brazil. So we have a culture of cooperativism, I think it's called in